if you're listening today, you've probably either set up your community but aren't sure how to get people there, or you're thinking about setting one up but aren't sure how to really make it effective. The first step in an effective customer community is to get your customers to the community. So that's what we're going to focus on today. One of the first things you'll want to do is to add Get Satisfaction widgets and links into your website. This is an example of Mozilla Thunderbird's support page, and you can see they've got a couple of points where they just link their customers right to their Get Satisfaction community. They've got a topic search widget, they've got a topic list widget, and then along with links to support articles in their knowledge base. So just a really nice integrated support page. And here's another example of a really well integrated support page. This is from Rhapsody. So they've just got their FAQs that are listed in their knowledge base, but then over here they've got their topic list widget and a topic search widget. They've got other links, helpful links, user guides, and whatnot. And then we've got Nike Running using the feedback tab widget, which, of course, when that little tab is clicked on, it launches this little feedback widget where customers can search and then enter a question or share some feedback, which creates new content in their community and points their customers there. So widgets are a great first step. And once you've got your widgets up and going and you're driving your customers to your community that way and getting content created that way, you also want to make sure you announce it, of course. So, use your channels like Twitter. Here's a couple examples of some companies that announced their Get Satisfaction communities on Twitter, and, even do a blog post. So Amistaf Healthcare did a blog post, and they even included a little, how to use it in the blog post with some screenshots. And Melody did a blog post and even included a feedback widget with the blog post. And then they went ahead and put that feedback widget actually right into their application. So that's another great use of widgets is you've got an online application, getting the feedback widget installed within the application so that you can collect real-time feedback as your customers are using your tool. This is an example of a feedback tab widget installed within Melody's application so that you can be collecting real-time feedback as your users are using your tool. And then, of course, there's the Facebook support tab. If you've got a Facebook page, the support tab is another way that you can connect your customers with your Get Satisfaction community. What gets posted on the support tab is mirrored over in your community on getsatisfaction.com. And then we have a tool on Get Satisfaction called Overheard. So you can use Twitter to drive traffic to your Get Satisfaction community. You just navigate to the Overheard section of your community, find a tweet that you'd like to respond to, and click Reply via Get Satisfaction. Then the Twitter user is notified via an @ message that you have replied and is provided with a link back to the topic on Get Satisfaction. This both informs the user and others about your community and then takes the user there where they can then see your reply and continue the conversation. So as you can see, that tweet was turned into a topic on Get Satisfaction with the employee's reply, and then the Twitter user as well as other customers can come in and take part in this conversation in your community. And there's even the option now of bringing the Twitter stream of topics about your company front and center in your community with the On Twitter tab. And if that tab isn't turned on in your community right now and you'd like to use it, you can find the toggle for that in your company details of your admin section. And finally, just be sure to add links to your community in all of your relevant email correspondence, such as support response emails, newsletters, marketing emails. This is an example of a support response from Yola, and you can see in the footer of their support reply emails, it says, for fast, friendly community support, join us at Get Satisfaction. So that goes out with every email that comes from the support department to customers. So it's constantly pointing their customers back to their community for that community-based support. So those are just some quick things that I wanted to cover that you can do to drive traffic to your community. And now we're actually going to bring our first customer that we're talking with today onto the line, but I'll be introducing you to Laura Thomas. She's the Senior Community Support Specialist at Yola. Welcome, Laura. Thank you so much for joining us today. So I know that the Yola community is a thriving one. Can you tell me about how many unique visitors you think you get to your community each week?
Well, we get about 80,000 visits a week.
So, of course, you didn't launch with that many customers coming to your community. You guys have really done quite a bit to drive that traffic and keep your customers engaged. Can you tell me a little bit about some of the things you guys have done to encourage the use of Get Satisfaction and to drive traffic to your community?
Absolutely. I was pretty excited watching your presentation, and I think we are doing most of what you described. We have the various entry points linked to Get Satisfaction from numerous places, including our support page, and I think most importantly, the help menu from our site builder, as well as you pointed out, all of our outgoing support mail. I think that's a really great way to get people in because it really lets them know that, we're willing to answer you one-to-one, but if you want something even faster, here's our thriving community where you can usually find the answer. We often, in our replies, link people saying, we have a similar topic like this in our Get Satisfaction forum in the actual reply to the user, and that lets them go right from our reply where we give them the answer to see even more about what's going on with their topic. So I think that's a great way to get people in. Since what we do is we allow people to build and host websites with our site builder, we very often have the answer about how we suggest that they do things, but of course our community has workarounds or different solutions to pretty much everything that you can do with Yola and things that we didn't even know that you could do with Yola.
Yeah.
So I think it's really useful to those users to say, here's what we suggest, but over here in our community, there's about 50 other replies from people who are doing it differently and why. And that way they can see what works for them. It's really great for our super users, and it definitely gets people interacting with the community. The other thing that I would say is a newer addition for us, which you also mentioned, is the Get Satisfaction tab that we've added to our Facebook page. We find that really useful because we are getting a lot of people posting to our wall. That's actually a picture of our wall right there. And you'll see the message that we have on the left. We are basically encouraging our users to get off of our wall and go over to the support tab. And that's because there's no good workflow for it, obviously. We have to check it. If people reply, from 3 weeks later, it doesn't move it to the top, so it's really hard to see if people are replying. So we're doing everything that we can to really encourage them if they have actual support needs, as opposed to just saying, hey, check out my site, or we love Yola. We're trying to get them to move over to the support tab so that we can actually integrate it into our workflow, which obviously Get Satisfaction is worked into brilliantly, and Facebook is not quite there yet.
Well, thank you so much for your time today. Next, I'd like to introduce Roland Tanglao. He is the technical support lead at Mozilla Messaging.
Hello, everybody.
So Mozilla Messaging also has a very active and thriving customer community and satisfaction. Which of course, started probably with very few customers and built up over time. So can you tell me, first of all, about how many unique visitors you think you're getting these days?
It's an inexact science, and our analytics are not, for various reasons, are not up to snuff. But my guess, based on the last time we had working stats from all of our analytics across the board, is to our support websites, including Get Satisfaction, it's over 50,000 a week. It should be more, but we're still working on making sure everybody gets driven to Get Satisfaction, but we're doing a better job as time goes on.
So can you tell me what kinds of things you guys are doing to encourage the use of your community and drive traffic there?
The number one thing I believe has been the incorporation of a link to our support site, which links to Get Satisfaction from the help menu of the Thunderbird application itself. So you go into Thunderbird, you click on Help, and then you click on Thunderbird Help, as you can see in the diagram, and it will bring up support.mozillamessaging.com, which has links to Get Satisfaction. So I think that's been the number one. But I mean, just as big has been the websites. Mozilla is a very decentralized and rather old for internet companies, and we have a lot of websites, and I've been amazed by the links to old support sites. So it's taken a while to track all those links down and change them. Yeah. So we've done most of that, and I've blogged about it, and I think that's really helped. So number one, the product. Number one, fixing our websites. Yeah, please fix your websites. We have a wiki site, we have Mozilla.org, we have Firefox.com, we have support.mozilla.com. I mean, the list goes on and on. I've had to track down each and every one of these references to Thunderbird support and get them to change it. So that's really important that your web presence is up to date. And the last thing I learned is that I need to put my widget in the blog.
Thank you so much for that insight, Roland.